everyone, my name is Stephanie, and I just want to give you a brief story of what happened to me when I, as a Christian, married a unbeliever. He was a Jehovah Witness, and I thought I could save him. So that was one of my reasons. I thought that if we were married, that he would see my walk with the Lord and that he would be saved. But instead, it turned out to be a horrible nightmare, because the Bible does talk about being unequally yoked and that we shouldn't be unequally yoked. And so I went ahead and got married because I was in love and I thought I could save him. And it has totally ruined my life. The devil has stolen a lot from me, but I thank God that he's a restorer of all things. And he's going to restore what the cankerworms and the palmerworms have stolen from me. Now, one of the things that I had to go through was domestic violence. So it was verbal and physical abuse, and it wasn't a very good thing. We ended up hating each other, saying mean things to each other, but all the time I kept hanging on because I believe if I prayed hard enough that, God would save him. But God is not about to override anyone's free will. God, yeah, you can pray and God will do things, but at the same time, he's not going to override someone's free will. And there are times when you sow, whatever you sow, you have to reap. And the consequences of me marrying an unbeliever was that I had 2 miscarriages. One was a result of the domestic violence. And another thing that happened, I ended up having another baby, but then she ended up being taken away from me. Now, if we were both Christians and the Lord was in our marriage, I don't believe a lot of the things that happened would have happened, because we would have been praying together and there was no way the enemy would have been allowed to come in. But when you're unequally yoked with someone, it opens a door for the enemy to come in. It opens a door for him to step right in the littlest stuff. We would argue over simple stuff like who gets to turn the radio up, stuff that probably not normal people, but if you're a Christian, you wouldn't really argue about that stuff because there's more important stuff like saving souls and trying to live a right life. But we were at a crossroad. We were constantly at loggerheads because he had his Jehovah Witness belief. He didn't really go, but he still clung to the old ways. And I clung to my Christian belief of God being the greatest and there's no one like Jesus. And I would pray and I would cry out to God. And I know God heard me. But then the Bible also talks about whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourges every son he receives. And so I believe that the consequences that I've received is a period of chastening from the Lord. But at the same time, God has shown me that he loves me still, and I'm always going to be the apple of his eye. And he has blessed me so much, no matter what's going on. And I know that just like Job went through a lot. Some of us have never gone through as much as Job has went through. But he said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. So in spite of everything, I'm still trusting God. Our marriage eventually did end in divorce. We got married in 04, got separated in 07. And we finalized the divorce in 09. And it was nasty. It was horrible. It was horrid. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So if you have to wait, wait. If it's not your turn to get married, don't get married. And you listen to what the Lord is saying. And if there's spiritual people around you, older, more mature Christians, they don't necessarily have to be older, because Job's friend was older. He was young and he spoke wisdom to them. Listen, because sometimes they see in the spirit, and sometimes you get so emotional and caught up in the love and the lust as it is, and you don't realize what's going on. But if they see something, listen. I know it's hard and you might think you love the person, but wait on the Lord. Be patient and wait. Because when you don't wait, you run the risk of things like the divorce happening, domestic violence, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. And one of the things that it did, it made me ashamed because I didn't want my family to know what was going on. And when I finally told them, nobody believed, because it was like they can't believe that it was happening. I never said anything. But when you're in an abusive situation, it's not as easy as you think to get away. And then there was the word saying, well, I was looking at the word, don't divorce, and husbands submit yourselves to, wives submit yourselves to your husband. And that's another thing that my ex-husband used. He used the word of God. So he knew I believed that. So he knew if he told me, well, you're supposed to be submissive, I would. But, I thank God for the people that were praying for me, that were pushing me, and that helped me along the way. And so now that I'm divorced, it's it's a lonely walk, but it's a good walk because God is with me. So maybe I shouldn't say it's lonely because God is with me, and He has given me strength. And according to Psalms 18, don't know the exact verse. That's my verse. It says, "I can, for by Him I can run against a troop, and for by Him I can leap over a wall." And I've been running against troops and leaping over walls. So I hope my testimony help you, and just wait on the Lord.